You're still watching Business Life with me, Pius Kojubaka. We have to continue with the rest of our stories. An economist, Professor Lord Mensah, is downplaying fears of economic shocks following the exemption of pension funds from debt exchange program. It follows Finance Minister's warning that exempting the fund from the program will come with some cost to the economy. But Professor Mensah strongly disagrees with that warning. He has been speaking on PM Express Business Edition.
Reduction of debt does not necessarily mean that you should reduce it, drastically. You can spread it over years. Debt restructuring does not mean that you should hit a certain target within 5 years or within 6 years. Now, if you look at the structures that were provided by the finance minister, next year 0% interest payment. Why should next year be 0% interest payment? We can find a way to build up the interest, come up with the interest a bit. The following year, 5%. Why should it be 5%? So in a way, government can, come in. That is why I made a statement earlier that what is the government exchanging for this, debt exchange?
Yeah.
What the government can exchange for this exchange is the sacrifice of some budget lines and then making room for the losses they're making now on the interest payment or the interest savings they want to make on pensions. So effectively, if you take, for instance, I mentioned capital expenditure earlier. Capital expenditure, we can sacrifice. These are discretionary expenditures. Goods and services, these are also, we have control over it. Other expenditure, we have control over all these expenditure lines, which we can make room to fill in the losses that we're going to make from the interest savings we could have made from, these pensions and, individual investments.
So it's a no-no for you when the argument is made that, listen, if we are freeing these things or exempting these things, pension funds and individuals, it will come at a cost to us.
Oh, it won't be that much of a cost. It's about prioritizing your expenditure lines and then realigning what was presented in Parliament.
While longer on the debt exchange program, and an associate professor of finance at Andrews University in the USA, Williams Ripper, has stated that Ghana is likely to visit another debt exchange program in the next 2 years. This is said is as a result of the approach the finance minister is using in this current debt restructuring program, which is decisive debt restructuring. He was speaking on the marketplace.
It's good that probably Labour Union, they have won their case to get the pension funds excluded. As the finance minister has indicated, it may come with some cost, and indeed, yes. If I look at the approach that was adopted by the finance minister in the debt restructuring policies, he wanted to achieve what is termed as decisive debt restructuring. That is, making sure that straight away Ghana get to a point where we are at 55% of debt GDP, then 18% of total revenue in terms of payment to external debt. Excluding the pension funds mean that this will not be able, we cannot achieve this strategy. So Ghana will move into what is termed as interim debt restructuring. The cost implication is that in the next 2 years, there is a high probability or likelihood that Ghana will visit another debt restructuring program again because of the lack of space which has not been able to attain from this particular process. The other implication in terms of cost is that Labour Union, they have won their case. Are we also going to see agitation from other bodies which may compel government to also listen to them and give in like this? So these are the measures and the challenges that government seems to face at this particular point.